Hey there, it's Lost Miner, and today I'm going to be making a Terraria video, and in fact, this is actually the first Terraria video I've created on my YouTube channel since August 19th, 2019. I did actually make a slightly more recent Terraria video that was just a New Year's special, so that doesn't really count. But anyway, yeah, I have started my break from Minecraft, because like I said in my previous video, I got bored of the game. If you want to learn more, just click on the link at the top right corner of the screen with an arrow pointing to it. But yeah, I'm gonna be starting to make Terraria content, I think, mainly. And so yeah, today I'm gonna be talking about why I prefer the Crimson biome. So as you can see, I'm currently in a Crimson biome. The Crimson, or the Corruption, it's your choice of which one you pick, is like the evil biome of the world. And it has, like, there's nothing friendly in it. Everything is just monsters, and like, it's more creepy and stuff. And every world has some kind of evil biome on the left side and the right side of the map, and you have two different choices. There's the Crimson, and then there's also the Corruption biome that you can pick. And so the Corruption biome is like, the Corruption is like purple color and a lot of worms in it. The Corruption was actually the first evil biome to be in Terraria, because with the official release of Terraria there was the Corruption, and then the Crimson came later on in Terraria Update 1.2. I didn't start playing Terraria until 2016, so when I started playing, there was both types of evil biomes. And in fact, even though the Crimson existed when I started playing Terraria, my first two Terraria worlds were actually both Corruption worlds. And so at first, I was just cool with the Corruption simply because it was all I knew, until when I created a Terraria world with the Crimson really just got me going, and I like it a lot more. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to be talking about reasons why I prefer the Crimson. And when I was watching a YouTube video about like which biome is better, the Crimson or Corruption, I actually noticed that there were slightly more people in the comments saying they liked the Corruption than the Crimson. And a lot of the reasons I noticed for people for like the Corruption being popular is that it's nostalgic to a lot of people because it's the first evil to be added, and people say it's more like kid friendly because like there isn't a lot of like blood and gory kind of stuff, and like it's more subtle, and it's not, neither of the evil biomes are peaceful, but people say the Corruption is slightly more peaceful and there aren't like a lot of scary enemies. And then also there's people like the weapons from the Corruption biome, but even though the Corruption like seems to be more popular, I actually like the Crimson a lot more. And so the first reason why I really like the Crimson is that like it's less boring, because mainly it's like the overall reason why I like the Crimson more. But the first specific reason why I like the Crimson more is that like there's a bigger variety of mobs. Like you can see me fighting right now in vanilla Terraria like a lot of different mobs, and I am using a cheat mod, so I have just the most OP gear to fight them, but there's just a lot of mobs. Like in the Crimson there's blood brawlers, face monsters, Cremarias, and then there's also in the hard mode exclusive, in the hard mode there's also purplings, blood jellies, blood feeders, and crim slimes. They're all like really fun to like battle and farm mobs in the Crimson, I feel like, because you're not constantly just fighting like an eater of souls or a corruptor. Like there's way more mobs, and it makes that aspect of the game like more fun. And then also with the Crimson, I prefer the terrain generation. So as you can see, I just went through a little like tunnel like going down as you saw to get into here, and I like the terrain generation of the Crimson more because, like, it's less annoying. Like, I'm showing you a picture of some Corruption terrain generation, and you can see that there's, like, holes everywhere, and, like, you fall into the holes to get, like, the Shadow Orbs and the Demon Altars and the Eater of Worlds and do those things. But on the Crimson, I think it's a lot, like, more smooth because you don't, like, you don't have to avoid all these holes and take platforms over them. And then also, like, the little tunnels, like, as you can see on my map, I found a tunnel here, and you just, like, there's an opening, and then you can just come into the tunnel, and it goes down. It doesn't go straight down, which is especially good for early game, because if you're in a Corruption biome, and you're falling into one of those big old holes, like, you could just die from fall damage unless you're extremely careful, and so that would make it a bit longer to get down, which is, I think, is annoying about the corruption. And then also, I like the Crimson more because there's a better, like, arena for the boss fight that's already there for you. Like, as you can see right now, this is all just natural world generation. I didn't modify any of this or create it myself. Of course, I just added some torches here, but, like, as you can see, there's a huge, like circle here that's just open. And, like, I like it because this is a good area to fight boss, and you can break those hearts out here so that you can fight the brain of Cthulhu. And then there's this huge arena. If I was fighting a boss here, I would be placing platforms. And then also, I feel like it's a cool way, like, to farm money, just killing all the mobs if I also have an arena here. So I really like that about the Crimson. Now, also, that leads into the boss fight. So, there's a different boss, in fact, for both the Crimson and the Corruption biomes. Since the Crimson biome, the boss you fight in it is the brain of Cthulhu. And then for the Corruption, it's the Eater of Worlds. And, this is another reason why I like Crimson more. I like the boss fight better because, like, I feel like the brain of Cthulhu is more fun because, like, it has a lot of minions, and then it also goes through multiple phases. And then the Corruption one, it's just this huge worm with tons of hitboxes that you just, like, that you just have to land a lot of hits on, which I feel like is a lot more boring. Final reason for why I prefer the Crimson Evil more is that I like the appearance of it. Now, I know the appearance, like, doesn't really affect gameplay, but I like the appearance more anyway, because like, I'm like, cool with the theme of it, and I feel like it's just, like, you know, like, some people say Corruption is more kid-friendly because there isn't, like, the blood and gory kind of stuff, but I'm, like, cool. And then also, oh, wow, this is a huge coincidence. Let me explain. So, a blood moon just started, and that's a coincidence because I was just about to start talking about how the blood moon and the Crimson together make sense, because when it's a blood moon, like, all of the water in your Terraria world is recolored to red to fit the fact that it's a blood moon. So I like that because it fits better with the Crimson for, like, the water to look red, and with the Corruption it doesn't fit in as well because, like, the terrain is purple. Alright, so now that I've talked about everything I like about the Crimson, now I'm going to go over to the Corruption world I created in advance to show you why I don't like the Corruption. I almost forgot to mention, I also like the Crimson Heart. As you can see, it's my light pet. Like, if you look over here, this little slot in your equipment little section is the light pet, and I like the Crimson Heart. And then also, the pet, it doesn't actually fight for you, these pets and equipment in Terraria, but, the Bone Rattle you can obtain in the Crimson biome, and, the baby face monster, yeah, like, so yeah, those are just some more visual kind of things, almost forgot to mention, but now I'm actually gonna move on to why I don't like the Corruption so much. Alright, so now I'm in the Corruption biome, and, on another world, and, yeah, you can see, like, the terrain generation. See, there's this huge hole right here, and then also this area is a bit messy, but that doesn't really matter so much, because look at this. Like, if I did not have these Frostbark boots on right now that I cheated in through my little cheat mod thing, then I would be falling way down here unless I had to carefully use platforms if this was in the early game. And this is the terrain generation of the underground Corruption area, in the Corruption biome. Like, I'm not a very big fan of it because it's just a bunch of straight up vertical and horizontal, like, cave areas that are just, I feel like, not very interesting. I mean, some people, I guess, are cool with them, but, I mean, I don't like them so much. I just find it to be annoying having to navigate the area this way. And also, there's a lot less mob variety in the Corruption. So the only Corruption exclusive mobs I'm really seeing are the Corrupt Slimes and the Eater of Worlds and the Corruptors and one other mob I saw up there. Another mob in the Corruption you can see is these Slimer things, where if you kill them, a slime drops from them. And then there's also the Devourers, which are just a typical worm mob. As you can see from that, the Corruption biome doesn't have as much of a variety of mobs as the Crimson does, especially in pre-hard mode though, because in pre-hard mode, there's a lot less of a variety of mobs in general. So in pre-hard mode, I think it's just the Eater of Souls, which is, like, I feel like it's quite boring. Alright, now now that, earlier I talked about the boss fights and that I like the Brain of Cthulhu better, now, side by side, I'm maybe comparing the boss fights. I have, like, a lot of really good gears. It's not gonna take long to do the boss fights, but I'm gonna explain why I like fighting the Brain of Cthulhu better. So, yeah, let me break these. I created my own arena up here. So, here he is. He's down here. And I noticed that the worm, like, it's a huge worm that just splits into a bunch of parts as you kill him. But I feel like it's boring because it's really just, like, an upgraded version of a typical worm, kind of, except, like, it breaks into parts, which is a bit interesting, but I don't feel like it's interesting enough, really, for it to be that, like a really good boss. I mean, I know a lot of people like it, but personally, like, it's not that bad, but I just don't, I feel like it's not as interesting as the Brain of Cthulhu. See that? I felt like, alright, so I was initially gonna show you, the Brain of Cthulhu fight that I like better on that world I was on, but I can't because the cheat mod kept glitching out. So instead, I actually went to the Terraria, just the normal Terraria world, well, with some mods that I usually play on. And it doesn't hurt just to do another Brain of Cthulhu fight on it, just so I can show you why I like it better than the Eater of Worlds. So anyway, I'm gonna smash this heart right here, and then I'm gonna show you the boss fight. Alright, so here's the Brain of Cthulhu, and it's coming. Alright, so see, a reason why I really like the Brain of Cthulhu fight better is that it has minions, which I feel like make it a lot more interesting. See these things called creepers? Like, they're not Minecraft creepers, of course. There's these eyes that are just their little minions that you take out before you can actually start dealing damage to the boss, which I find to be more interesting than the Eater of Worlds. See, I really like this right now. And you get them all down to dead, and then you can actually start damaging the boss. I really like that. So, I'm gonna speed up for a few seconds, because it's taking me a while to beat these things. Alright, now I've beaten all those minions, so here's the actual boss, and you can actually damage it now, and you can see like a little eye inside of the brain. I find it to be really cool looking sprite for it. Really like it. And beating it quick, of course, because I'm using a weapon from later on in pre-hard mode. So anyway, I'm about to beat it. So I'm about to die, and there we go. So yeah, and I also really like its death animation. All the parts just come out and then they start fading away. So yeah, that is the Brain of Cthulhu fight. Another minor thing I don't like about the corruption is that there's these corruptors that shoot out these little, like, darts, as you can see a picture on screen, and, like, they're called corruptors as if you would think they would actually spread the corruption around, but it actually doesn't do anything, and they're just enemies that attack you. But anyway, yeah, that's my final little point of this video, and so that is what I have to show for today's Terraria video. So yeah, for some channel announcements, when it comes to when I'm gonna come back to Minecraft, I'm thinking I might come back to Minecraft when the 1.17 pre-release is around, because pre-release means the update is in, like, almost complete. So I'm thinking that might make me want to come back, and then also, like, I've been planning to update my texture packs to 1.17 when the pre-release comes out. So I might end up doing that. And I think when we reach 700 subscribers, I'm gonna make a special video, because our channel right now, it's just been taking a while for us to gain more subscribers, and because we're several months after the popular Ramo's shoutout anyway, so not sure about that, but I'm thinking we might. But anyway, that is what I have to show for today's Terraria video, and yeah, that's what I have to show, and bye.
Subscribe and see more epic content.